don't pick up either. Okay. 11:30, I think. I don't mind that last song. Both. Delivery in progress. Alrighty, hello everyone, welcome to Cynical Gaming. I hope the sound is working. Hope we've got all sound working. It's not the cleanest sound, but it'll have to do. And so, hope everyone's doing well. We are here for yet another Warhammer reveal show. We've got the Adepticon reveals today, which is going to be sort of the big one of the year. Normally gives us an idea of what we're expecting. We're probably expecting to see the new edition of Warhammer 40,000 as well. For some reason the chat box is not working again. Don't know why it's doing this. Chat box doesn't work. Oh well. Chat box might not work today, but that's all good. Everyone here is chatting. And Tony Rusty, thank you for the love on the Warcry and Age of Sigmar stuff. We're going to be painting some Age of Sigmar today while we wait for the reveal show to start. We have some Dawn Riders for my Lumineth Realm Lords, what we're going to be working on today. Slowly getting these guys done. I should have a Lumineth army done up for the channel real soon, which should be great. So we're going for like a very wintry theme. If you've been seeing our stuff on Insta and all that we've been posting of the Lumineth, we've got probably about just over 1,000 points done now for the army. So a few things to work on. First of all, got to get some white happening on these. Alright. So yeah, we got just some white to re-highlight these spears. But yeah, what are people hoping to see on the reveal show today? Definitely looks like we're going to see some Cities of Sigmar for Age of Sigmar. And apparently we will see, well, it looks like a Lumineth Realm Lords icon for Underworld, so maybe that might be something we can see as well, which would be pretty cool. Finally, another Lumineth Warband for Underworlds. Do you have the other Warband just sitting there waiting for some paint, actually? The old Miari's Purifiers. So just getting this first coat of white down, bringing these guys back up. But yeah, if you are joining us in the chat today, let us know what you're currently working on, what you're hoping to see from the reveal show. Are there any other games at Adepticon that are being shown off that you're interested in? I know Conquest guys are there, there's a few other games as well being shown off. Apologies if you can't hear the little dude behind. He probably near his bedtime at this point. There's a little theatre saying "I'm not tired" when he very clearly is. Starting to bring up the white on the spins. We've got like a nice, like really white wood that we're going for the force. So a bit pretty busy hobby-wise because I've got like every army they've released so far this year is one of the armies I have, and it looks like that's going to continue with cities coming out next. So I'll be in need of some new city stuff because it does look like the Dark Elves are going to disappear from cities, which is a bit sad. Yeah, so far for the Luminath, I've got a unit of war needed the Sentinels, Caligrave, the spells, the terrain, Eltharion, and some Blade Lords done. So, got a decent little force painted up so far. First coat's white, down all this. So slowly working our way through all of these. So yeah, Lumineth for this. I'm not sure what my next project may be. I'll quickly smash out a couple of Daughters of Cain units as like my next project. Mainly because my Doomfire Warlock's going to be retired, so going to need something to replace that. Which is a bit sad. I'm pretty sure I'm probably the only person in the world that's won a GT with Doomfire Warlocks. So I'll be sad to see them go. But I do think with them disappearing, it does open up some options for cavalry-like units now in the book to not just invalidate warlocks, but properly replace and like fill that void. So Daughters of Cain players probably have that to be happy about. Which would be a cool thing. Like, you're going to have a new sort of thing opened up. There's some design space for the fourth. But yeah, what are people's thoughts on what they think we're going to see from the reveal show? Like, Cities of Sigmar definitely seems like it's going to be the Age of Sigmar thing, so really excited to see what we're going to see there. Hey, Elrath, we are painting Dawn Riders from the Lumineth Realm, their base cavalry. Hey Nick, thanks lads. Keen to see what we get. Like, obviously, I think the big thing for the whole show is we are going to see the start of 11th for 40k. I think that's going to be what we maybe end on. I don't think we'll see too much we'll probably see like a big like announcement trailer for the new edition of 40k, but we won't see any actual models for it. Maybe one or two, because they'll obviously spread that out over the next couple of months. What we'll see for 40k is very likely the sort of rest of the end edition stuff, like what the books are going to contain, what characters are going to come out, get remakes. Start going for a second layer of the white and hopefully just smooth it out. Takes a little bit to build up white nicely. But yeah, so quite excited to see. Like with Cities of Sigmar, that'll be like a really big one for me, being like one of my favourite armies. I've not been overly impressed with how they've played in like the past couple of books, I will say. So it'll be really interesting to see what we're going to do. I really want that sort of just combined arms field to come back to the army. Have I heard the rumours for AOS 5th? I have heard those rumours, and I've also heard the people that have shot it down, and that it's apparently someone from the group that get a bunch of the leaks being removed from the group and sort of posting their own headcanon. I just can't see why they would do that to the world. That they've spent all this time building just to make it what it was, especially when what it was exists in Old World. Like, you have that game. I for one would be personally really disappointed if it's something they do, because you spend all this time building up AOS, you've given us the idea of realms, you've given us the idea of like this vast expanse that's just so hard to, you know, navigate. And like, it would just be such a waste, I feel, like a downturn. Yeah, just not a fan of any of it. So I will do a full video talking about it and talking about my thoughts completely for anyone who is interested in hearing me ramble on about it. But yeah. Like, and those same rumors said that like Archaon's died and all that, and they've just made him the cover art of like their brand new DK books, like the Lore of Age of Sigmar. They've just spent all this money putting out books with DK, building up this Black Library collection. It doesn't make sense. Like, I can't wrap my head around it all. Yeah, it just doesn't make sense to me. Like, why would it happen? Now, the big thing, well, like, there's just a lot of like stuff they put into like building the worlds up as they are. Like, and the Sigma one like doesn't make sense. Like, why would we have Sigma die? Like, the game is called Age of Sigma. I can't see them removing a figurehead of fantasy. Like, and we're not just talking about like like, and then like removing the reforging and the breaking of the reforging process from Stormcast and all that, like, just screams of like sort of removing everything that is cool about Stormcast. I mean, you've just had the whole faction of Stormcast that are the broken ones. Like, we've seen the end result of what happens when Stormcast get reforged, and now essentially there is no reason for the Ruination Chamber to exist. Like, yeah, I think it's over. Someone in the rumor thing has been like ousted from the group and is just throwing their headcanon in sort of a hissy fit. Because we know the account that posts is a multitude of different people. Or it's been an intentional rumor to rat out a leaker. So they purposely put something out there, hoping that someone will be dumb enough to put it out, and have gotten, very much that whole Tyrion Lannister thing in when he finds out who's working for Cersei in Game of Thrones. I think they've maybe done that, of like looking for someone to find who's leaking, told these different stories to different people. But yeah, I don't know, like killing Sigmar, like, and having a Stormcast not being able to reforge just literally ruins the whole reason you just brought out Ruination Chamber. Like, Ruination Chamber is the end result of the reforging going on. So like, why would you bring that out just to essentially make it meaningless? And all of a sudden the chat display has started working. I have no idea why. But on to other stuff. Underworld is apparently getting a Lumineth warband, is the rumour. It's like, there was an icon that looks very much like the Lumineth Wind icon. Yeah, it might not be a honeypot. It may just be some guy just going, I don't care anymore, and just throwing out something random. I will say Rob has very little faith in anyone at GW having competence. So, like, I love him, make no mistake. I'm good friends with Rob. I get along really well. I've met the dude in real life and all that. Been on the Honest Wargamer before. But yeah, like, he doesn't have much faith in them to potentially like do something like that, and I get it with his lived experiences. Funnily enough, this whole channel started as off as something sort of one of the main things like that sort of got the channel going was a challenge I did myself to annoy Rob, the Honest Wargamer, in when he was doing the Stats Center, when he first started doing that. He did a thing where he wanted to really learn how to use an army, and he did his cow stores, played them for a whole year at every tournament, and really got to learn the army. I then went, well, I want to do this, but I want to be a special someone and do something with an army that no one had ever used at that point. And this was early 2nd edition, and so I decided to do an entire army of Scourge Privateers, which was the faction of the Dark Elf Pirates, Corsairs and stuff. So that was Black Hawk Fleet Masters, Black Hawk Corsairs, Charybdis, and the Scourge Runner Chariot. That was my whole army. There was a battalion back then. I used to run double battalion. I took that to multiple tournaments, including at the time CanCon, the largest tournament for Age of Sigmar in the world. Did really well, went 4-2, and was like consistently going like 3-2, 4-1, to the point where I was one of the Scourge Privateers, because as the only person running them at GTs, I was on top of the stats center for lots of the time. Just to annoy Rob, was no other reason than that. So you'd have like, you know, all these armies, and then Scourge Privateers have a 75% win rate, because I'd win 3 out of 4 games. So that's literally where the channel all started. That's why we've got the pirate themed logo and all that sort of stuff. Right, just about done. Oh, awesome. So, do I have any of my regulars in here? Like local players? So I've got a bit of cool news that I just got an email for. If I have any of my local gaming buddies in here. I'm just going to send a little so some Canadian flesh tone. I'm going to start work on the small bits of skin that appear on these models. Before we do that, I need to clean a GW pot lid. Yes, I just got a ton of paint all over my finger. Right. And so the easiest way to do this is just grab the, well, I say easy, it's incredibly annoying, and just popping it out like that. Pop it back on, and it actually closes properly now. Annoying that you have to do it, but it does clear them out, clears all the gunk out. And so we will start working on the small bits of skin. Yeah. Not an awful lot of skin on these. It's just their hands and their face. But still, got to be done. Yeah, so we are slowly but surely making our way through these. Probably got to start the horses at some point. It'll make them look so much more done. Am I going to do any StarCraft or Gundam? I definitely have some local players that are getting into Gundam. I know Nick, Wolfric Nick, as you may know from Discord server, he is getting into the Gundam. I will say that neither of the two IPs have any personal connection, so it is going to depend a lot on what comes out, what's interesting about the games. In that end, I'm not a massive Gundam person. I didn't really play StarCraft, so neither have, I guess, that connection to me. So the Gundam game will be very interesting to see what it's like, because that'll be, I guess, similar in like aesthetics to Bot War that I already play, and I think Bot War is an extremely good game. I'll tell you what I am 100% getting, and that is the I 100% would be in a Zoids one. Zoids, when it comes to mecha, Zoids is my thing. I will be looking to get some Zoids. I've been chatting with Vince, and probably using his giant robot game that he designed to play some games with some Zoid models. But yeah, Zoids I would have been in so much more. I'm assuming Nick either has the day off or... Broken Chef, hello mate, how are we? interesting is the Ghost in the Shell RPG, which apparently is going to have a miniature game to go with it. That's my jam. Ghost in the Shell is my favourite anime of all time. So I am incredibly excited to have that. Yeah, Zoids. My favourites would be Command Wolf, Shadow Fox, and Blade Liger, and I do like the Red Raptors as well. And yeah, good to see all the lads popping in. Yeah, I do think Vince's works really well for it because it's designed to be with like big models. So that's what I like about the one with Winston. Oh yeah, Weasel Unit. We'll never get on. Weasel Unit Total Assault. If I had to go, out of all the Liger Zeros, I'm probably a Jaeger fan. And as for gun snipers, I love Naomi's gun sniper, the proper one. The actual gun sniper, not the gun platform that is Leela's. I wish I never got rid of my Zoid toys when I was a kid. I had the Blade Liger, I had a Gustav, I had Shield Liger as well because I like the Ligers. I remember like converting them as a kid, making my blue Shield Liger into a blue Blade Liger. Command Wolf's been one of my favourites. I also don't mind the D-Bison. Hey, I like Leela's gun sniper, but yeah, I am the Naomi one. It's just so hard to find like Zoids on like anywhere to watch. Oh, Zoid series. Well, I will say I like New Century the best. I do think I do think New Century is the better series. As good as Chaotic is. Yeah. Not the biggest fan of Fusors. I think Fusors was probably the last good Zoid series. Oh. Another chef here as well. Well, format, I guess. Sort of, again, I'm running my local soccer club's canteen now. Doing dinners there and stuff like that, so I guess I'm back in the chefing somewhat. Nothing too serious though. It's nice to do though. It's like a really nice, like little casual job. I absolutely love it. Gets me out of the house, gives me a little bit. I sort of make a menu each Thursday for dinner. It's just like a set menu. And the A grade, B grade, C grade, and all the senior teams and some of the older cult boys come in with their partners and have dinner. It's super easy. We've got about half an hour, I think, until the reveal show starts. Yeah, we've got half an hour until the reveal show starts now. So for my locals in the chat, Wolfrix there, I don't know whether Seamus is still. We have just gotten the game space given to us that I've been talking about, so I've got to work out all the final details for our local little group. So yeah, so it'd be pretty cool for like our local little group that are regularly playing. Not so much for me, like I've got a gaming space, so especially for like the others, like so they can play games between themselves. It doesn't have to involve me all the time. But yeah, no, pretty cool to have like a proper little gaming space like the locals. We do have a few gaming clubs like around our area, but none of them are like quite as close as this. But yeah, so we'll have like a game area. I'll sort out organising that hopefully over the next couple of weeks, and we can get started on having some gaming space there. Apologies for the yawn. If you had seen our video about predictions and stuff for Warhammer, for the Warhammer reveal show as well, those are just images of things I think of, like the factions I think we're going to see. They are not images from Games Workshop that are going to be revealed. It's all stuff that already exists. It's just my thoughts. But a few people going, "Oh my God, is Captain Tycho coming back?" I'm like, no, I just think Blood Angel is coming back. We've just done it in a theme, like done the thumbnail in a theme that looks cool. Sort of reminiscent of their reveal show. And so you're going to go for like these more pale coloured stallions on my force. I think I'll just go nice with the winter scheme. It's using a topaz skin as the base from, you can't even see that, topaz skin from Army Painter. Their war paints have a proper like skin tone range that I really like. Two section room. Apologies all. Ordered some from DoorDash and didn't arrive properly. Oh, bloody hell. Gotta love it, don't you? There we go, one horsey done. Who's base game? Oh. So yeah, if you are watching, we've got a review show coming up real soon. It's about 15 minutes away, less than that actually. Let us know your thoughts on what you think we're going to see and what you want to see. Oh yeah, and if you do, for the dudes here, there's a couple that will be YouTube members. Don't forget, we've got our own like cool little Warhammer emotes that I've just posted that you will get if you're a YouTube member. You also help support the channel incredibly well if you do that as well. And help us sort of see what content's getting you here so we can start doing more of that. footsteps. I think the daughter was coming. I think we may have a little visitor coming. Come here, buddy. Come here and be a little visitor while Mummy gets your bottle ready. This is a little Theoden. You say hello, say hi. By the way, get the spot already. You gotta go down for the nose? Yeah? He's just looking around at it. No, you're not having the horse. Maybe I might cover the paint. While the family come in and get everything ready, as my office is now inside. Look. Yeah. You say, "All hail King Theoden, Lord of Rohan." Yeah. You say hello. And so, just a brief little proper visit. Oh, Harper. Happy, give me. Happy, Happy, come. Hey. And this Miss Muffet is Harper, who is running amok back there. But yeah, so now that we are close to the reveal show, what are people's thoughts on what we're going to see? What are you doing? You're playing drums, are you? Harper.
She's very excited. Sorry.
Someone is very excited we have juice. That is the stomping and the jumping around. She is very excited that Mummy got juice for her. You painting? You painting, Theo? Hey? You say hi. You say hi. Wait, they're mine. She found my Maltesers. What are you doing? Yeah? And so... You're a good babe. We go over to Warhammer Twitch. Well, they're still offline. What are we doing, buddy boy? You painting? May just turn the hopefully the microwave's not too loud once we heat up some. You leave the light alone. No, you're not having the actual paint tin. Yeah, I think cities is probably what we're going to see for AOS. I think Mummy has your bot ready. So you're going to say bye? You say bye. 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 Good boy. You say like and subscribe. Bye. Alright. Bye. Bye.
Bye.
You love you, buddy. Alright. Yeah, easy. Dad Hammer Life right there. Sorry for the little interruption, everyone. But so wife's got him to bed because it is middle of the day reveal show here for us in Australia, especially where I am. It's like 11:30 almost, which is when the stream will start. Might just try and tidy up this. Just refresh this. We're having the reveal show on very soon. Yeah, I will admit I like the Adepticon ones because they are like a really nice time during the day for us here in Australia for once. UK ones generally aren't too bad because at least they're like midnight, so like you're not getting too late. It's the like late night UK ones that are the real killers. Oh, alright, we're live, so we're going to pop the painting away and I'll pull up the New Year's reveal show for everyone. Get the music off from Epidemic. Oh, why are you on? Can't change it. Cool. For some reason it went onto. Cool. Don't go onto any websites I shouldn't be going on at this point. Huh. I swear it said they were live. Come on. You preview. I just refresh the page. There we go. Right. There we go. How is that sound? How am I to everyone? Oh. What is it? That is. Annoying. Alright, well this is what it's going to be at, unfortunately. How is the sound for everyone? I don't know why it's doing that. Here you go, theatre mode. That worked better. Just trying to play around and make sure we get the good working nicely. Making it all work. Should all work soon. Give me a sec. Apologies for that. That would have blown out some eardrums. Alright. My sound, this sound, let us know if everything's fine. Oh! Are they playing this too early? We are getting Steel Legion. Steel Legion are coming. Ha! Oh, the last mode stuff's coming out everywhere. Technical difficulties. God, how can they have such bad audio every time? I swear, I have better audio than them, and I'm an amateur. Alright, good stream. See you next year. Yep, see you next year, everyone. All done. Is it really a Warhammer reveal show if they don't have issues with it?
Did you like what you saw? Please hold that ball because I think we're back on. I think does your mic work?
Does my mic work? I think it does. I think it does. I think we're back.
Alright. There we go, better.
Mine doesn't, so I'm going to hold this. Welcome everybody to the 2026 Adepticon Warhammer.
Alright, so how is my sound compared to their sound, everyone? If you can just let me know in the comments. Just let me know how sounds are going.
Shout out to the room. You just saw something we're all really excited about. We are joined here right now, and I don't put it on the camera, by about 1,300 Warhammer fans around the world. There's standing remotely in the back.
Alright, this sound is,
It is an absolutely packed brief. It's wonderful to be here in the USA for Adepticon.
Fantastic. This is my friend Eddie, and for the next 90 minutes to 2 hours, we're going to
90 minutes to 2 hours we have for the reveal show. Woohoo!
Well, let's start with that video that we saw about the Steel Legion and the question, what would Garrett do?
What would Yarrick do? He'd bring back the Steel Legion, of course, and we can confirm today the Armageddon Steel Legion are on their way.
Yeah, absolutely. I was talking with the guys from Warhammer Studio earlier today, and you can expect to see
Yeah, so we got the main two games, Heresy, Kill Team, Underworld, and Middle Earth.
That's the mic. Turn that one off.
It doesn't work.
I'm going to prove things wrong. It's this one, right? Oh. Okay, so normally when the preview is starting and the room is filling up and there's thousands of people in the chat, I ask the question, where are people from? And the answer today is they don't have the chat to be open. I went around the room and spoke to people. So when I call your place, give us a shout out. There's a guy from Montana over there. Ohio. Scotland. And something I've never met in person in an event before, from Iceland. My favorite thing about this is the chance to have people from all around the world participate in the Warhammer community. It's so fun to have
This.
Yeah, it's really cool. We've got some amazing reveals for you today, guys. We have some Warhammer 40,000 stuff. We've already seen one thing already. We've got more very soon. We've got some Warhammer Age of Sigmar stuff to show you. We've got some Warhammer Underworld stuff to show you. There is some Middle Earth releases on the way as well. We've got some stuff to show you there. And some stuff for Kill Team as well. So it's an absolutely jam-packed show. Is your mic working yet?
I'm skeptical.
I told you it's working. Maybe should we just share the mic? We'll just share the mic in the middle.
Get cozy for a minute. Right, so normally at this part of the show, we'd say, have you done any hobby lately? Eddie, have you done any hobby
I
lately?
have done some hobby. I've been painting Space Wolves because I am playing at Adepticon this weekend.
Is anybody else playing at Adepticon this weekend? Spectacular. Eddie, you've come as part of the team tournament, right?
Yeah, we've all brought Space Wolves. We've had about no practice games so far, so if we do get you in the team tournament, just go easy on us.
Alright, so, yeah, while they are blathering on,
I also have been doing hobby, and I can't talk about it because it's secret. But you'll have a clue by the end of tonight.
Are you saying it might not be secret by the end of the night then?
Less secret.
Less secret, okay,
Very good. So, while we're just beginning, we'll get really into the meat of it in just a minute. We had some news told to us today by the Warhammer community team back home, which is they're making... It wasn't me, I promise.
oh my god.
Have I got a mic now? Yeah, boy! The blessings of the Omnissiah are upon us. So, as I was saying, the guys back home in the Warhammer community team have launched a new YouTube channel, which is official Warhammer 40,000. The reason for this is we figured Warhammer 40,000 fans might like all of their Warhammer 40,000 videos, whether that's painting or lore or like previews like we're going to show you tonight, all in one place. So if you haven't already, go and give it a subscribe. Let's get those numbers up, and let's make sure there's one place you can go for all of your Warhammer 40,000 YouTube content. Make sense? Perfect. Is your mic working? The betrayal is real, boys. So, what's going to happen over the next 90 minutes or so is we're going to show you all these previews we talked about. There's going to be some great videos, some fantastic reveals. We'll get overexcited. We'll talk for slightly too long. And then at the end of the show, everybody who stayed in the room with us and had this wonderful experience, they're going to go away with something super cool. More on that later. Are we about ready to kick this off?
I think we're ready to see some cool stuff.
Beautiful. So, the first thing we're going to do is a tiny bit of a retrospective. We know this guy and we love him, and he returned to the Warhammer 40,000 universe. You've all seen Commissar Yarrick, right? So, any moment now he'll appear massively on your screen, but I have a feeling the tech priests are currently applying unguents and oil to the machine so that Eddie can have a mic too. Otherwise we have to wrestle over it. Nobody needs to see that. So, I'm going to talk about Commissar Yarrick for a moment because I've got the mic. He is my personal favourite character in all of Warhammer 40,000. Oh, now that means... No, I still want mic. So, when I was a little boy and I read the stories of Commissar Yarrick and the infamous things he done on Armageddon, the epic defense of the Imperium, it really sort of did something to my little wannabe Imperial heart. And so it's been really cool to see the reveal of that model and the return. And this heralds something that we're going to show you in a little more detail as the rest of this preview runs on. Eddie, were you around when Yarrick first debuted?
I played a game and sent in my results through White Dwarf.
Or was this for the Armageddon?
Yeah, for the 2000
Third War
Yeah,
campaign.
the Third War for Armageddon. You had a little form at the back of White Dwarf, and you sent in the results.
I mean, he could have rejuvenate theories and all. Like.
Is anybody else in here old enough and long in the tooth enough that they participated in the Armageddon Global campaign?
I didn't participate in the Armageddon Global campaign, but it was like just wrapping up just as I got into 40K.
When it happened, so terrifying. I remember my original Yarrick had like a snippy crab claw. Any snippy crab claw Yarricks in the room? Just me? Yeah, of course there is. Beautiful. Right, so let's get an update from the guys behind. Otherwise, we're going to do this preview via the medium of interpretive dance. Nice. I've dispatched my finest Eddie to bring news of the technology. While we fill, I suppose I could just start reading off the list of all the cool stuff we're going to talk to you about, right? It runs for 2 whole pages, guys. This is no joke. Otherwise, it's going to come down to Warhammer trivia. Right? Nobody needs Warhammer. You might need Warhammer trivia. Tell you a joke. I couldn't possibly tell you a joke live on air. This would go badly for everybody. What I can do is, hello sir, you have your hand up. It's very polite. Go on then. Sorry? I didn't hear the question. I'm not answering. Oh, right. Well, there is actually really great lore behind that. And in 15 minutes, we'll tell you about it. And so start speculating amongst yourselves as to what the reason that Yarrick is in fact not dead. It could be that there was some intervention. It could be that the Imperium...
Yeah, I will say, Aslan, those Ultramarine Secret Lab chairs look nice.
I mean, there's all sorts of ways that the old man of Armageddon could in fact not be dead. I think you can rest assured I'll fill you in, or at least give you a heavy clue. The thing I don't want to do is spoil anything, right? This is quite something, just filling the void. So, let's get a sense of guys in the room. I can't really check on the guys in the chat. Who is here to participate in the Warhammer 40k events this weekend? Lovely.
Wow.
Anybody here for Warhammer Age of Sigmar? Now, I met them last year, and I'm hoping to meet them again. Any guys for the Middle-earth strategy battle game? Sweet, you're my people. This is great. You've got some great stuff to see later on in this show. What about
Really
things like
excited for
the
all
Horus
this.
Heresy? Warhammer Underworlds? It's quiet, but they're there. What else did we say we were going to show you today? Oh, Kill Team. Any Kill Team players?
I love like the 3 Underworlds people in the room making as much noise as they can.
Oh, sorry. I beg your...
I'm going to be here for 3 hours at this rate. Oh, how can, like... This is worse than last time. Nah, not Port Underworld. Like, there's less players, but they, like, every one of those dudes sounded enthusiastic about it. I love Underworld. I think it's probably in the best place it's ever been at the moment as a game.
Is there anybody here to play Old World? There you go. I didn't want you to feel left out.
Okay, so now they've got the crowd and the video.
Legion back on the field.
It's back to me, which means we might be live, so I'm going to talk about it. Are there any authentic Steel Legion collectors in the room? Beautiful. So I have a Steel Legion army. It's even been in White Dwarf back in the day. And so that news is extremely exciting to me. And there's loads of things I want to get like excited about and wax lyrical about with regards to Steel Legion. Did you see in the concept art that you saw there that they have the carbine-ized lasguns? So like slightly shorter so you can like pack more men into a chimera. And then the folding stock. These are the details I love that make the Steel Legion one of my preferred Imperial Guard regiments. So I can live with that. That's pretty dope.
This is just like insane. We're now 15 minutes left. So what this tells me is there is no Adeptus Mechanicus releases coming out today due to how much technical difficulty we're having. I think this is the worst one of their streams I've ever caught live, without a doubt. This is the worst one by a long shot. I've never seen this. I really hope you don't mean 6:30 my time, because that's awful. You know what this reminds me? Biggest Warhammer reveal of the year. This reminds me when Pokemon Go did that first massive like Pokemon Day, and they just didn't have the software up, and so everything just died. Ah, 15 minutes from now, fine. I can live with that.
Soldiers
Oh.
of Armageddon, I will not lie.
Alrighty.
The orc army before us is vast. They say we cannot win, that the orcs are too many.
Oh
I
yes.
don't know about you, but I am growing tired of proving them wrong.
They are cool.
See the steel in your eyes, the fire in your
Oh.
soul.
Oh, she's cool.
I tell you now, we can win.
Is that Severin Rain?
Will win. And if that victory
Speed.
costs us our lives, so be it.
Oh. Damn.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are returning to Armageddon.
Wow.
This is another campaign expansion book for Warhammer 40,000, The Return of Yarick. We're going back to Armageddon, back to the War World, for a story of the Imperium versus a huge orc war that is invading.
Armageddon is a place that's had some issues, and the sponsor of the issues that are going on right now is none other than the herald of the Speed War, Wazdaka Guts.
That new Wazdaka model is amazing. Right, well they've got no sound, but like Wazdaka, he's looking super darn cool. Love to see like a really cool character back again. Happy. This is so bad. We've got the model up on screen at least, and we've got all these things going. No audio from them at all, but, you know, multi-billion-dollar company. But, anyway, while we're here, what do we all think of Wazdaka? Because he is darn cool. Oh, okay, a Hippogriff AFV. That's cool. So an autocannon with a stubber on it. What have we got? And then we got, looks to be melters. No, flamers, isn't it? That on the bottom right, that's flamer. You've got a Gatling cannon of some variety. Maybe a... What would the Gatling cannon looking thing be? I can't remember what they called it. It's not multi-laser. Yeah, these would be really cool to like make some interesting Gene Stealer cult conversions. I will say that. Good shout on that, Aslan. And there's the Centaur RSV. So that's got a heavy stubber and that's like a troop carrier. It's like a longer backed Taurox.
This it doesn't replace your Chimera, but it kind of rides into battle alongside them and is a tool in the army of someone trying to put together a mechanized guard army.
Yeah, absolutely. This is
Yeah, that's a heavy, just a heavy stubber on it.
Your Astra Militarum force in that. The way it's going to work is you pack it full of troops, you storm forward to the objective, and then you get out of the way. The Chimera would typically sit alongside you guys and offer lots of suppressing fire. This is purely delivery. My favorite thing about it.
Alright, so cool, yeah, like, so the Chimera, like, actually provides some sort of, like, supporting fire where this is literally just get to where you need to. It's probably going to be dirt cheap.
beautifully rendered piece.
Yeah. And it's got a heavy stubber, so that's
It's
that's
not
pretty cool.
completely armless, right?
It can
Yeah,
shoot some
absolutely.
stuff.
There you go. That's that fantastic shot I was talking about. You've got like your Cadians in there riding into battle. I really love this as almost a diorama piece in its
Yeah,
own right.
it's a really cool miniature. You can also build it, of course, with the hatch closed and no troops inside it, if you wanted to put it into a Death Corps army or a Steel Legion army.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll just leave the guys off it, to be honest. Right. We also showed you, and the next thing up is probably my favorite thing in the whole preview. I'm calling it now. This is Commissar Graves. Commissar Graves is a the room like that. Commissar Graves is a member of the High Command for the military operating on Armageddon. She is a stone-cold killer, a commissar cut from the true mold of the Officio Perfectus.
She's cool.
And
She's
literally
nice.
One of the first things she does in the narrative is replace one of the high-ranking officers with a bolt round.
You can have the character on foot, but she also has the option to come on an armored fighting vehicle.
Yeah, so
This I'm
is
really cool with.
Vigilance. This is her own personal rapid strike vehicle. And this thing oozes like the grim darkness of Warhammer 40,000, right? Gloss black paintwork, armored pulpit, chased in gold.
Really dig that. Like,
She
characters
stands
actually
on the
coming
back
on,
with
like,
an
having their own
enormous
special
personal
transports.
banner.
This is cool. Multiple
A bunch
ways
of
to play the
people were
same
trying to
character
work
is
out what all the
nice.
different patches on the jacket I wore were. Commissar Graves' heraldry is one of those patches.
Oh yeah, you can see the
Inside
heraldry.
The vigilance with her, you see her staff of Officio Perfectus officers. This is what she calls her right hand. Her left hand is a power fist. Her right hand is a bunch of executioners which she'll use to enact her will.
I think the thing I really like about it is it's nodding a little bit to the Fortress of Arrogance.
Oh, absolutely,
So
yeah,
the Bane blade that Commissar Yarrick traditionally drives around in, this is sort of like a smaller, compact version of that. If you converted yourself up a Fortress of Arrogance, this would look very cool riding to battle alongside it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of the things here is that the cloth that she's cut from is very different to Yarrick. Yarrick is an inspiring leader at this point, almost like a heralded hero, right? Whereas Commissar Graves is in every way.
Yeah, I think you're right on
killer.
that, Nick. Like, it's just going to be like a dirt cheap transport.
We're still not done. Did we see the Adeptus Sororitas character? Here is. The room really likes this one. Here is Intransia Frey. She is the Dog Martyr Superior for the Adeptus Sororitas on Armageddon. She's a member of the Order of the Martyred Lady. And she has a big role involved in that high command for the officers that are operating.
There's a heavy bolter and
against the
flamer combo
Yeah,
on
we know
there.
this is a battle that played a big part in some of the battles for Armageddon in the past.
She's cool.
We've seen them in novels and stuff, doing some cool battles. This is a really powerful character to add into a Sister of Battle army. It's got a few different options there. You can see you've got the helmeted, unhelmeted. It brings quite a lot of firepower to the field. You've got a couple of heavy bolters, a couple of heavy flamers, and then a rack of melter missiles in there as well. So a powerful unit to do damage to pretty much anything, short range, long range, enemy tanks, and fairly tasty in close combat as well.
Yeah, and she also has an Adeptus Sororitas branded loudspeaker nestled under the missile rack, which is nice.
Yeah, always useful.
For those keeping score, this throne is called the Throne of Blame. You might know the Throne of Judgment. There's at least 2 thrones out there.
Well, there's 3 at least.
Not including the big one on Terra. Right. Next up is, this is a contender for the strangest model in the preview. May we introduce you to Inquisitor Croyle. Who is Inquisitor Croyle, Eddie?
So Inquisitor Croyle is a member of the Ordo Xenos, and he's effectively a big game hunter in Warhammer 40,000. So this guy hunts down exotic and weird enemy characters and monsters. He's come to
Yeah, my
Armageddon
in-stream chat
particularly
had issues
try
to
and
start
take out
with, so
some of the
unfortunately,
warlords
that's
and
just going to be what
snipers
it
and
is.
things, with that very strange-looking alien rifle. He is mounted on the weirdest-looking horse shrimp thing.
Yeah, I mean, it looks even worse with the nose bag off, right?
Yeah. You've got some options in the kit.
It's almost, forget the name, Thing Gear,
game terms, he's very useful. He is a
Odin,
fast-moving
Thor's
sniper
horse.
character, so you
The
can
multi-legged
imagine him,
horse from Norse
being
mythology. That's
very
what's
useful for
reminding me
all
of,
sorts
just
right?
a weird,
The
creepy
rifle has a
alien
particularly
version.
fun rule where once you've managed to hit an enemy unit with it, the damage on it goes up and up and up across the game.
Yeah, fantastic. His gun is a Jadari Tox cycler for the record, and it's one of the stranger looking guns in Warhammer 40,000, I think it's fair to say.
Riding, it is actually the last of its species. He personally hunted the rest of the species to extinction, but he thought it looked like quite a useful mount, so he kept one of them to ride around on.
So yeah, one of a kind in a very real sense of the word. Right now,
That's it, sleep there.
about all of these characters. Well, we've got a book for you, a slipcase that contains 3. This is Armageddon: The Return of Yarick, and this contains a narrative book, a book with detachments in, and then a book with some new rules for you to use in your game. I want to start with the narrative bit because it's very exciting. This does answer the question someone shouted out from the crowd earlier of how is Yarick not dead, right?
It's a good question.
I'm not going to spoil it entirely, other than to say the space walls have something to do with it.
Oh,
On the rule side of things there, you've obviously got a whole bunch of new detachments. No surprises, some of those are Orc and Imperial themed. There's also another book in there which is Armoured Gauntlet, which is effectively tank and vehicle battles in Warhammer 40,000. Would be very cool, for example, if you wanted a speed war fighting into an Orc, an Imperial tank or mechanized company, something like that.
That sounds fitting for
Doesn't it?
war
Doesn't
on
it?
the war planet. Yeah, absolutely. And finally, there's a bunch of detachments in the detachments book, as one might expect.
There are detachments in the detachment book.
Perfect. All of this comes out alongside each other, so you'll be able to enjoy
ooh, that Armageddon box is sweet.
the first place. I got a standing ovation from the Imperium side of the room.
I feel like the Orc bikers will be in the new edition box set.
Armageddon Battalion Astra Militarum, which contains all of the models you see here.
Yeah, so it's a really solid start actually to an Astra Militarum army. If you just want a bit of everything, you've got really solid armored core, a couple of those
I'm loving these boxes that are bringing out more like vehicles and stuff.
Rogel Dawn tank, and you've got
And they've lost their audio again.
Absolutely. And all of those models will be available separately shortly thereafter. But if you want to get your hands on it first and save a bit of money at the same time, this is the way.
that's absolutely it. It's not the only battalion that's on its way as well. As you would imagine, there is a lovely new Orc battalion coming.
Yeah, the fact the bikes aren't in that really does say to me, I think,
Useful and solid unit. You've got a Death Killer War Trike in there as well, and you've got a Rucker Truck Squig Buggy. This is a box that's effectively designed to accompany Wazdaka. So if you're deciding that you want to do a Speed War, Wazdaka, and this box together, give you a really solid start.
Fantastic. If you're looking to keep in Transia Fray, the Dogmata Superior Company, there's a new battalion for the Adeptus Sororitas coming.
Oh, that's
this
cool.
is like an infantry ground and pound army in a very real sense, with quite a sort of a disciplinarian theme to it. You've got the
Initiates.
Repentia, you've got novitiates, and they're backed up by paladin warsuits.
Yeah, it's
That's
just a really
cool.
solid, quite a combat-leaning force
Absolutely.
for the Adeptus Sororitas. You've got all the stuff that's really good at chopping people up in close combat, basically.
I like that
fits
Sisters
really
box.
nicely in Transia Fray, and she's also very competent in combat. So this gives you a really, either a solid start or just a very punchy addition to an Adeptus Sororitas army.
Yeah, absolutely. And then there is one more battalion set.
Oh god.
There is, I promise. Here we go. So,
Oh,
when your world is overrun by Xenos, what you need are the Xenos Hunters. This is Battalion Death Watch.
yeah, I'll be getting this one.
Battalion Death Watch is the new Death Watch plastic miniatures, first available in Kill Team. There are 10 of them in the box, so you get a full-sized squad of Death Watch, and you also have their flyer to transport around. So just a really solid unit to go and try and take out supports, decapitate key enemy units, that sort of thing.
Fantastic and really very thematic for the narrative that's unfolding here. Now, we are not done in the Dark Millennium, but we're going to show you something a little bit different. Somewhere in the room we have some friends from
Apologies, everyone. God.
friends from our friends at Weta Workshop, and they have got an amazing new thing that we're going to show you right now. Right now. And
Once he was known as Calistarius. Now
Apologies for destroying everyone's ears.
he is reborn as one of the most formidable psychers in the Imperium of Man. Standing upon the stairs of the Arx Angelicum, we present to you the chief librarian of the Blood Angels, the Lord of Death, Mephiston. He is the sole member of the Blood Angels to conquer the Black Rage. And beneath that control lies a force capable of devastating wrath. We have depicted Mephiston amidst the battle-damaged environment of the Arx Angelicum, harnessing a powerful psychic attack. His aristocratic features are contorted into a rageful expression.
They're really cool. However, it'll be like $600, so not buying it. If they want to sponsor us and send us out one, sure.
The other, psychic energy gathers, poised to manifest the Emperor's wrath. Pistons, resplendent artificer armor, richly adorned.
Like, yeah, their stream is terrible today.
Is further elevated through masterful, visceral paint applications, with every surface and texture carefully realized to bring depth, contrast, and gravitas to this defining portrait of the Lord of Death. He is a figure of awe within the Blood Angels chapter. Make him a figure of awe upon your shelf.
Throughout the rest of this weekend, weekend, that statue you saw in the video is here. If you want to look at it in person, go and chat to Jules and learn all about it. Pop down to where the Warhammer shop is, and you can see it in the flesh. It is exquisite, so it's well worth a visit.
Yeah, so I think it's limited to like 20 of them.
We have another officially licensed product I'm pretty excited about because they sent one for me to wear.
Oh, what is it, Adam? This is the new White Scars helmet. We've seen a couple of these helmets.
They're all still here again.
Titus helmet, I love it. It fits my head. If anybody wondered, my head is colossal. It's ridiculously big. And there's room in there. It's not on its biggest thing. So.
Yeah, I do want to say I feel sorry for Adam and Eddie here because they are in no part should be in charge of the audio in this situation.
You can check these things out. There'll be links to it all on the Warhammer Community website. Make sure you go and have a look when we're done with the preview and scout it all out. And
I believe that helmet is available to pre-order as of tonight as well.
I think so. Yeah. So essentially, if you really like one of these things, you can get your order in straight away, both the piston and the helmet. Now, we have other exciting news, which is still in the Dark Millennium, and this relates to something coming very soon to Warhammer Plus.
Warhammer Plus, what are we seeing?
This is Flight Commander Kai. Welcome to Big Maneuver. The Emperor protects. Where did they come from?
Oh, okay.
This is an all-new animation coming soon to Warhammer Plus.
Now give me Aeronautica Imperialis, the game back properly, because that's amazing.
So we knew this animation was on its way. We can tell you a few more things about it today. So it's called Aeronautica Imperialis, and as you imagine, it is about the pilots of the Imperial Navy. They are up against the Eldar pilots of Craftworld's Sam Han, and it is effectively an aerial war of attrition across a frozen world. This will be a 3-part animation, much in the style of other Warhammer animations we've had on Warhammer Plus, one of which finished today. If you've not watched Penitence, go and check it out. It's on Warhammer Plus right now. This will be a 3-part series, and it will explore both the Imperial Navy, and it has a few scenes as well from the Eldar perspective as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So right now you can see some of the Eldari fighters.
Yeah, I wish the game was coming back. I'm pretty sure I played with you, haven't I, Nick? Really good game.
Which will effectively do the bombing runs trying to take out Imperial forces. And then on the other side, you have Imperial Thunderbolt pilots for the most part. There is quite a high attrition rate, I would say, for the Imperial Thunderbolt pilots.
Maybe don't get too attached.
Maybe don't get too attached to any of the characters. This is Kai. She is one of the Imperial pilots, piloting those Thunderbolts into the sorties against the Eldar planes.
Fantastic. And then one of the things, so I've watched the first episode, I really enjoyed it. I'm one of those people that grew up watching sort of those classic sort of air war movies, Iron Eagle, Top Gun, Battle of Britain, and this hits all of the right buttons for me. There's a dogfight in the first episode, which is breathtaking, and you get to meet this guy for the first time as part of it, who's one of the Eldari characters.
Yeah, so this is the kind of lead pilot, I suppose, of the Eldari forces. This is Idraneth. And the Eldar scenes in this show are from his perspective, so you get to see a little bit into the mind of the Eldar.
I like one of the comments I just saw, Eldar Steak.
From the quite hard done by pilots of the Imperial Navy.
Yeah, absolutely, and it gives you an insight into things that you never normally see, right? The animations that appear on Warhammer Plus let us delve into corners of the sort of Warhammer universes which are unexplored up to now.
Yeah, and that is coming in May this year, so only a few weeks ago.
Yeah, so if you want to watch it, make sure you've got a Warhammer Plus subscription, and then it'll be on the Warhammer TV platform. Perfect. Oh, we are nowhere near done yet. We're still staying in the Warhammer 40,000 universe, but we're going to go and take a look at Kill Team for a minute now.
Call sign Chester.
Let's have a look what we got for Kill Team.
Toughest throw-down grunts on the Eastern Fringe. We've fought Tyranids before. They're tough,
Catacans.
but they drop if you know where to shoot. We thought we were ready. We were wrong.
Oh! New Red Terror. Oh.
Spectre Squad. Call sign Chester.
That is.
Toughest throw.
I think we're done. Okay. Right, I'm going to talk as if we're back on air. So this is Kill Team Terror on Devlin, and we'd like to introduce you to the fighting men and women of Spectre Squad, which is a brand new kill team for Kill Team. These are elite scout troops for the Astra Militarum.
Yeah, this is effectively a brand new kill team. This is a kind of stealthy, scouty kill team with lots of kind of fun mechanics to keep yourself hidden before.
And now they're stream flagging. Did their stream just die properly? Oh God. Can this get any worse? This is like... Have you tried turning it off and on again? Yeah, whoever the tech guy is here is fired. Oh. But also, you know what? It's probably not someone that's actually a proper tech guy. It's probably just someone. So let's... What? They're sorting their crap out. Well, here we go. We're back. So, what do we think? Like, I like the idea of these Nemesis. Now that we've got like solo play and co-op play, I think the Nemesis stuff is really cool for Kill Team to see. I love that new Red Terror. I am so down for that. Now, obviously, we had the Nightbringer came out just before. That Red Terror is so damn cool though. So cool to see him, like, such a massive character come back. I can't wait to see what they do when we finally get a re-release of, like, the Swarm Lord. That's really cool. I really like that Vox relay with, like, the servo skull. I'm assuming that, like, comes out and sort of does a little bit of, like, survey. Show us the Red Terror again. That's really cool though. I like the missile launcher too. Lady, maybe? Dude? Yeah, I thought for a second it was Katachan, but... yeah, that Red Terror is really freaking cool. Like, they've built it more on, like, I guess, a Morlock style now. Like, this is so bad. We are 45 minutes in. Oh.
Be able to play the Red Terror. It also allows you to do almost any kind of big thing that you might want to fight. So if you want, you know, you could hunt down a Dreadnought or a Hellbrute or a Carnifex or anything like that, this allows you to play those kind of games.
Yeah, and there's different ways to play it as well. One of the examples that the book gives is 2 kill teams going up against each other while a Hellbrute and a Redemptor Dreadnought slug it out in the middle of the battlefield. So there's loads of cool opportunities to have some fun. Of course, you'll need some new Nemesis operatives, so we've got some returning favourites from Blackstone Fortress.
Yeah,
Oh.
So this is the Archivist. He is a Zote. So we last saw him in Blackstone Fortress. We are re-releasing him for use in games of Kill Team. And yeah, you can bring this guy along and
down
have
with
your
this.
Kill Team try and hunt him down. Also coming back from Blackstone Fortress, we have another returning Nemesis operative, which hopefully we'll get to see in a second.
So the next one up is the Amble. A real classic from
Yeah,
back in the day.
these are really cool.
Yeah,
Really
so
happy to
Ambles
see
are
these
common
back.
to worlds across the Imperium. They're effectively an invasive predatory species. Their prey includes humans. So you're definitely bad news if you start an Amble colony on your planet. But they are exactly the sort of thing that would rampage through the middle of a kill team board, messing up the battle that you might be trying to have against your opponent.
Fantastic. So that's a whole bunch of great and exciting things.
This
for
is really cool.
100,000 Kill Team. We're going to take a slight diversion away from the 41st millennium and go back about 10,000 years now. And and have a look at some upcoming releases which you've got planned for.
Sorry about the audio. Oh.
Let's start with, if we can, the Legiones Astartes.
Oh my god.
Maybe we can.
There we go. So there we are. Warhammer the Horus
This
Heresy.
is so bad.
And
Oh.
this is a new variant coming soon to the classic Spartan tank. This is the Spartan Prometheus assault tank.
This is basically the tank if you really, really like heavy bolters. We basically put as many heavy bolters as it's possible to put on a Spartan onto the Spartan.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a classic tank with a new armoured variant. The kit will include not just the heavy bolter mounts that you can
That
see
is so
there,
cool on the
but
side.
it also
Those
includes
massive
laser
heavy
destroyers, which is
bolter
one of my
platforms.
favourite ways of blowing up enemy tanks. Here you can see some detail. The one on the right-hand side, that's the laser destroyer. It's got some extra bits and pieces, and is a perfect way to transport your soldiers across the battlefield in relative safety.
Yeah. I think you've got two very different ways of playing this. The laser destroyer is obviously excellent for taking out enemy tanks.
Yep.
The heavy bolters arguably become much more useful in recent months. Obviously, you've got the Mechanicum have joined in a big way to the Horus Heresy. Solar Auxilia are quite common, so the heavy bolter loadout has become much more useful than it maybe was at the start of the Horus Heresy, where you only really fought against Space Marines.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, this isn't the only thing that's coming for the Horus Heresy. There's also reinforcements due for the Solar Auxilia.
Oh yeah, trying out again.
So here you can see, rendered in plastic for the first time, the Karanite Ogryn section.
Yeah, so the Karanite Ogrins are basically like the brawlers and brutes of the Solar Auxilia. If you have a Solar Auxiliary army, you will know that mostly on the battlefields of the
Age of
Age of Darkness,
There we go.
you are outclassed basically by Space Marines and Custodes and Demons and all sorts of stuff. So if the enemy reaches your lines, you need a counterpunch. The Ogryn section provides that. These are brutal brawler melee units that can run in and with sheer brute force alone go toe-to-toe with some of the gene-enhanced superhumans of that age.
Yeah, absolutely. And this isn't the only thing for the Solar Auxilia. They're also getting some additional fire support. Here we can see one of the close-ups. They've got a variety of weapons, but they've also got some heavier weapons coming to bolster the Solar Auxilia.
Oh cool, Solar Auxilia rapier
This is the
weapons.
Rapier Fire Support Battery. Essentially, this is how you tackle enemies you can't see, right? So right now on the screen, oh, there we go. So this is the shooting down variant. It's the classic mole mortar. You can see that guy's clutching.
Yay, mole mortars.
Equipped with driller-tipped shells for going underground and coming up inside bunkers and trench lines. Then you've also got the bombard, which is for loosing off multiple shots.
Love the mole
raining
launchers coming
on
back.
the enemy.
Yeah, both of these really cool different ways to shoot the enemy from far away, whether they're underground or overground. There's also a direct fire version of the rapier on its way as well, which also has a variety of different options. We'll get a shot of that in a second too.
Yeah, so the first kit, it makes either of those support weapons for firing indirectly, either the quad launcher or the mole mortar, and then the direct fire kit contains things for shooting in a straight line. So here we go, the classic heavy bolter setup that you might expect to see on a rapier platform.
It is a good day for fans of heavy bolters.
Yeah, they are living large.
Yeah.
This thing became so useful to the Solar Auxilia because many of the early battles of the Great Crusade era were fought in space in boarding actions. And so there's a fun fact, if you look at the caterpillar tracks on these things, there's like rubberized nubs running between them. That's so that it doesn't skid round on the deck plating of hulls of enemy ships. So this kit, as we said, it makes a quad heavy bolter. It also has other options. There's a multi-laser. This is the laser destroyer. So you've got a variety of weapons with which you can equip your rapier platforms and bring battle to the enemy however you see fit.
Yeah, loads of ways of killing the enemy from far away, and also some Ogrins to kill them up close.
Perfect, absolutely so. Some of these things, the rules for them you won't find inside your existing Liber books. Fear not, there is a new Journal Tactica on the way.
The Battle of Talon, Part 1, there may be more on the way. Talon, of course, is the most famous tank battle of the Horus Heresy, a tank battle that was so brutal that the scars of it can still be felt 10,000 years later.
Yeah, absolutely. So you can expect this to delve into that epic encounter and really give Horus Heresy fans, of which it seems there's a great many in the room, something to sink their teeth into.
Yeah.
There we go. Right. Let's leave Warhammer 40,000 and the Horus Heresy for a little while. We're coming back to them towards the end of the show. And let's go to the Warhammer Underworlds.
Okay, what are we going to see for Underworld?
So, On your screen
Oh.
right now, you can see Thuriel's Zephyrite, an all-new Underworld's warband from the Lumineth Realm Lords.
They are cool.
So this is a really fun multi-trick warband with loads of different abilities. You've got some great combat units in there. There's some shooting characters. There's some magic, so it's a real kind of jack-of-all-trades warband. They've got some really fun mechanics.
That's cool. I love the archer there.
Use of the Hurricane Temple, and there is a little character in there, which is the kind of spirit of the wind. You can see just kind of bottom right there.
Oh, that's
and
cool.
She's got some kind of fun mechanics.
Yeah, so Thuriel is the leader of the warband, kind of like a wind mage, as it were, and Zool is the familiar that you see next to her, kind of like a fox, dog, cat thing. So there you can see him on the screen. There's an interesting mechanic with this warband, which is essentially these warriors, they fight based on sort of the feeling the skeins of wind and on the air, and that helps them locate the enemy and then outmaneuver them. And so Zool, when you place it down, it's like a marker, and essentially its proximity gives buffs to the models that are attacking it.
Yeah, it's effectively like the eye of the hurricane wherever it goes.
Absolutely.
And then the units around it get buffs based on their proximity to it. So you can dictate where on the battlefield, on the board, your units are most effective.
And it continues this lovely trend that Warhammer Underworlds has had of showing like awesome familiars and creatures and stuff as well.
I think everybody likes it when the warbands have a pet.
Yeah, absolutely. This is my favourite model in it. This is an Ara. It's just that classic sort of ranger archetype, and really reminds me of maybe Shadow Warriors from the world that was.
There's definitely a Shadow Warrior vibe about some of these.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, really
So
dig this
these
one.
models will be coming soon to Warhammer Underworlds, and are an exciting thing to maybe change up the meta that we see in the Underworlds tournament scene. That'd be really nice. Very good. We're going to depart now from Warhammer Underworlds and go to a place very near and dear to my heart as a staunch fan of Middle Earth. Let's go and let's look at some things coming out for the Middle Earth strategy battle game.
Oh, brand new Hill Tribesman.
So this is the first of the releases that we'll talk about. These are the Hill Tribesman commanders, inspired by the Lord of the Rings, The War of the Rohirrim movie, the animated we saw at the cinema a few years ago. I loved it. It's great to see these guys making it onto the tabletop. We've
These
already
are
got
really
the Hill
cool.
Tribesmen as warriors, so this gives you some additional commanders for your force. You've got the Chieftain on the left, you've got a Standard Bearer, contained within this kit, which are very useful. If you look at the
Happy.
right-hand side of the screen,
Happy.
this guy is a variant, and essentially allows you to build the Chieftain instead as an Oathmaker, as seen in the
Apologies for the daughter running in the background. She's alright.
where Saruman and the Wild Men make
Oh, she's wanting
to
juice.
attack Rohan together.
You've also got some options on the Chieftain in that box as well. The Chieftain can have a two-handed weapon, or he can have a hand weapon and a shield, or you can build him as the Oathmaker. So some great options to choose from.
Yeah, and as you can see, like the Middle Earth team have just continued to lavish the detail and attention that the range deserves onto these models. These are fantastic leaders and extra helpers for your army. I play quite a lot on the Middle Earth tournament scene, and it's quite interesting
Yeah.
to see.
I'd be
Hill Tribesmen
interested in grabbing
present
myself some
themselves
Hills
in
for
there. It's not a
Middle
bad
Earth.
army by any means.
Need to get
although
more
they take
Middle
a lot
Earth
of
happening on the
casualties.
channel.
Who are they fighting against? Well, the Hill Tribesmen's traditional enemy is obviously the Rohirrim. And so first of all, we have new Warriors of Rohan commanders.
Oh,
This
nice.
is a command set that features a captain, a standard bearer, and a hornblower. Classic staples to lead your warriors in their war bands into battle.
Yeah, so this is a really lovely multi-part kit. There's some cool options to call out on this that aren't immediately apparent. The biggest ones are on the Chieftain, so the Captain. So you have a choice of heads, so you can have either an armoured kind of head, as you can see there. There's also an unhelmeted head if you just want him to have... if you wanted to have two characters in your army, for example, you could have
There
both.
you go.
That's the unhelmeted one. They've also got a choice on the Captain of different chest plates. So you can either have this kind of leather armoured one that looks quite similar to the Warriors of Rohan. There's also
Well,
a heavily armoured one.
help
which you
building
can
up
see
my
there,
force for Theo.
Which fits in really nicely if you've gone for like a Royal Guard heavy Riders of Rohan force, which are quite a popular unit. Or if you just want to have two in your army and them look different.
Yeah, absolutely. And a fantastic new plastic addition to the Rohan force. Perhaps the most anticipated kit for Rohan, been desired for a long time,
New Riders of Rohan.
is a redo of the now quarter-century-old Riders of Rohan. These are one of the most iconic units that you see in all of the Lord of the Rings movies.
Yeah, they are absolute scene stealers, aren't they, in the Lord of the Rings movies? Every time they show up, it's awesome. This is a very venerable kit getting an update. The original Riders of Rohan, of course, came out alongside the original trilogy 25 years ago. So these are well due an update. The horses are amazing. I really like the armoured helmets on these.
Yep.
Riders of Rohan, of course, are very well equipped warriors. Every single one of them comes with a shield, a hand weapon, a bow. You've also got the option in there to give them throwing weapons as well. Just a really cool, dynamic looking unit.
Yeah, if you're keeping track, the guys who play the Middle-earth strategy battle game will want to know. All of the hand weapons can be exchanged. You see them holding the axes and the swords and throwing spears. They can either be hand weapons or they can be throwing spears. So it's a versatile unit. I recommend the throwing spears for the record. So a really long-awaited and much anticipated kit for Rohan, and it's just beautiful to see them rendered. I've got a Rohan army. I've put some of these new ones alongside it, and they also go really nicely together. So if what your thing is collecting all the models and having your force look beautiful on the shelf in your cabinet, these are going to blend in beautifully.
Yeah, that's one of the things about Rohan, right, is that they're not standardized completely, so you
Yeah,
can
absolutely.
mix kind of the older ones with the new ones. These ones could just be the slightly fancier ones with the cool horse helmets. Of course, if you want to, you can just have a whole army of the new ones. That's also fine.
Fantastic. Now, that's our time in Middle-earth done. It was lovely to be there for a little while, but it's time to go onwards as we continue on our preview. We're going to go now from Middle-earth to the Mortal Realms.
Alrighty.
Our enemies think us
Check
weak.
this out.
We will dissuade them of that notion.
Yay, Cities of Sigmar.
We shall not cower behind our walls. We are the wall. We will march out.
Oh.
Reclaim the lost realms.
Oh!
Our enemies will break upon our shields. And by courage and steel, we will drive them back to whatever foul pit once spawned them. Our enemies think us weak.
This is a fantastic addition to the Cities of Sigmar range. Loads of things to talk about. We saw them briefly on the screen. Let's delve into them in some more detail. First up are the Free Guild Grenadiers. Eddie?
Yeah, so Free Guild Grenadiers are effectively your hard-working, all-purpose elite infantry for the Free Guild. They come with great combat stats. They come with shooting abilities. They've got grenades. There's a flamethrower in the unit. There's a blunderbuss in the unit. They are just a really useful unit in game. In lore terms, they've got some really interesting things about how they're chosen from amongst.
This feels like these
absolutely.
were meant to be a
Essentially, the
Warcry
Free Guild,
warband.
recruit these, the brawniest, the sturdiest, the biggest and toughest warriors from amongst their number, and then train them to be the Grenadiers. These are the breachers. You know, when you create a breach in an enemy fortress, or you need to sweep the foe out of a city, these are the ones you send in, and they've got like the build and the tools for the job.
Yeah, these are like your close combat, down and dirty fighters if you need to kind of cleanse an undead infestation from a mausoleum or something. These are the people you send in. Every single one of these models is really fun and dynamic as well. You can see them being like the kind of logical extension of the steel helms, but even more sort of brutal, equipped for whatever the situation demands of them.
Yeah, absolutely. They are, however, not the only new unit that we saw in that preview, and they're not the only elite unit for that matter. We also saw for the first time the Free Guild Gallants, which I think we can go to now. So these are like foot knights for the Cities of Sigmar, right?
Oh, that's cool.
So we've already seen a unit of knights on horses. These are the infantry equivalent. They are the best defensive unit effectively in the Cities of Sigmar. They can take a charge in
Do their legs look really short
each
to
one
anyone
of them
else?
is effectively an iconic hero for the Cities of Sigmar. They not only fight very well, but they inspire the troops around them to fight better. The miniatures are phenomenally cool.
Yeah,
there are like loads of different cool helmet designs and shield designs and weird little creatures that go on the base and weapons and all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, if you get a kick out of like unusual armor types, they've got like my favorite helmet of all time is the completely anachronistic visored barboot, which you've got here. We saw a hound skull on the last guy. You can interchange the heads and lots of the arms and things, so you can make this unit entirely your own and oozing in character and charm, right?
You can also mix quite a lot of the parts in this kit with the existing knights.
Free Guild Cavaliers,
Yeah, so with the Cavaliers. So if you've got some like spare helmets and stuff, or you just want loads and loads of knights, you can mix and swap and change and make some really unique things. So it's a lovely kit to play with. The miniatures look great. It's a great unit in the game as well.
Fantastic. We also saw some new hero models for the
There's
Cities of Sigmar.
so many new
So
heroes.
this guy is Jorvan Creel. He's
He
the
has a panther.
survivor of Embergard, is it?
Anvilgard.
Anvilgard, there we go.
Yay,
He's,
Anvilgard lives.
Kind of like a ranger archetype, right?
Yeah, so he is a survivor of a city that's been taken over by the forces of Marathi Cain. So he has blood vengeance, basically, against the Daughters of Cain. But right now he is engaged in driving back the Skaven infestations of the mortal realms in the Realm of Fire. He is accompanied into battle by an Ash Panther, and he is effectively a really solid, dependable, mid-range skirmish hero for the Cities of Sigmar.
Fantastic.
Kitty.
And he's still not the only hero that we saw. Next up is the Malish Forge Priest. A classic take on that warrior priest archetype from
I like the
World
one on the
Wars.
right.
Sigmar is like a smith god, and here he is, his priest with an enormous hammer.
Yeah, so I mean, the warrior priest archetype is such a cool piece of Warhammer lore, and it's great to see that kind of coming through in Warhammer Age of Sigmar now. There's a couple of options in there as well. You've got a choice of heads, so you can either go with the classic bald warrior priest,
Yeah, my hairstyle.
or you can have the kind of slightly mad-looking monk look.
Yep.
And of course, he comes with an enormous Warhammer. This game's called Warhammer. Warhammer's going to be
It
pretty
makes
good,
perfect
right?
sense, doesn't it? Yeah, absolutely. There was also a trio of wizards that we saw like teased in that. First up is an Action Pyrocaster. This is your classic fire wizard. Has some really
That's really cool.
interesting
I
rules in the
really
game.
dig the
Essentially, once she targets a unit with a spell, that unit gains a characteristic which essentially means that it's starting...
Incandescent.
Incandescent, yeah. It's starting to smolder, and subsequent targeting of the same unit is even more dramatic. I think it adds D3 mortal wounds each time.
Yeah, the miniature is just really, really cool as well. Like, you can see it looks like a treat to paint, right? I can imagine some of these appearing at future Golden Demons and things like that.
And crazy though this one is, it is not even nearly the craziest looking wizard in this
It's not even
update
top
for
two.
this.
It's not even
Exactly.
top two.
Next up, we'd like to introduce you to the Amethyst Nell Mage.
So this is
cool.
A wizard who uses the power of Shaiish, the power of death. You can see them replete with various symbols of the realm of death. They have a scythe, there's loads of skulls, they have a weird candle. They have a bell on their head and two weird mechanical skeletons that hit the bell at regular intervals. And there's even a version where you can lift up the visor, and that's what it looks like if you get hit in the head by two mechanical skeletons all day long.
Yeah, absolutely. This is sort of grim darkness writ large, isn't it? With the
this is cool.
strangest, most odd
I
helmet.
like that they're just
I love everything
doing,
about
because,
it.
yeah, we've already got the
How it
Alchemist Warforged of the
applies
metal,
just
so now we've got the
everything
fire,
about
now
this
we've got
is
the Shaiish.
Still not the
It still
weirdest
might
wizard.
be the weirdest wizard, absolutely. Next up, we have Erasmus Zon, the Enlightened One.
So Erasmus Zon is an inhabitant of Settler's Gain, which is a twin Lumineth and Cities of Sigmar city. He is one of the first graduates of a program set up by the Lumineth to try and teach mortal followers the ways of Haish, to enlighten them into the ways of the Lumineth. He has been so successful in that he's actually surpassed the magical ability of some of his trainers. So the Lumineth are maybe not super keen on quite how well he's taken to light magic, but he is a very powerful spellcaster. The wizard obviously does all of those things, but the thing you notice
I'd like to
about
talk about his
is
mount,
that
right?
really weird mount.
Yeah, so that is a heliomorph. If you've ever seen one of them before, then you're a better person than I am. It's called Glyphwing, and it is the uncanny combination of a ram, a griff, and it has a snake for a tail.
Yeah, and it's
That
basically
is
what happens
freaking
if
cool.
when you're choosing your mount, you tick every box.
Absolutely.
And it generates that. So it's a really, really fun character, and it fills out another one of those winds of magic that are now accessible
Yeah,
to...
the colleges are arcane.
Yeah, you've got 4 of them now, I think, out of the possible colleges, which is pretty
Absolutely. Now, we also saw in this the Gate Gargants, which are fantastic new kit for the Cities of Sigmar. There's a way that the Cities of Sigmar fight, right? They advance like a moving castle as the Dawnbringer Crusades go out into the mortal realms.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So the walls of your castle are made up by your steel helms and your fusiliers. These guys are the Barbican, the gate. So they take the charge of the enemy. Enemies smash against those enormous doors. Once the enemy's broken upon them, they part the gates and open up, and your gallants and your steel helms charge out into the middle of the enemy. They sally forth. This is just a really weird, fun, bonkers unit.
What's cool is
the
that Gargant on the right is
they
female.
fight very well as well. Those are Gargant level stat lines in combat,
Yep.
and on the back of them they also have that enormous cannon which can make a mess of enemy units at range. So really characterful and interesting unit for Cities of Sigmar.
Fantastic. So we also saw, as well as these, a new kit which is known as Dawners Triumph. This is kind of like a floating memorial for the warriors of the Cities of Sigmar as they travel across the mortal realms and launch their crusade. And it's kind of a remembrance of all of the fighters that have given their lives as part of this campaign, right?
That's right, yeah. So when they set out on a crusade from one of the major cities, every member of the Dawnbringer Crusades will
I
be
like
given a
this
coin
faction
base.
terrain piece.
Those are the coins that you see sprinkled across the
Multiple reasons. First of all, it's on a base, so you can make your own cool one of this, but it's also a faction terrain piece that you drag around with you, and it makes sense to have on the
When they
battlefield.
finally reach their destination and start a city, you can imagine that this memorial will form an iconic part of that city somewhere in the landscape. So this is a memorial they take with them. In game terms, it offers you buffs to units around it, so they fight harder in its presence.
Yeah, absolutely. There's also, for the Cities of Sigmar, a new Regiment of Renown on the way. This is Venden's Towns.
Oh yeah, cool. Regiment Renown, you want to see?
are famous for hunting down sort of the esoteric enemies of the Cities of Sigmar, so maybe they're hunting down the Soul-like Gravelords or demons or other things.
Yeah, so you can add this effectively into other Order armies.
Yep.
So if you're going up against demons, undead, enemy wizards, that sort of thing, these guys have the tools to take it down, to track their enemy, bring them to heal, and then put a stake through that.
None of this is new. This is the Vendence and the Wildercorp hunters.
The units of the Wildercore hunters, so the perfect accompaniment to scout out the enemy, to locate them and maybe sort of keep them in place with the missile fire. That's a lot of stuff for the Cities of Sigmar, right? We are not done yet. Do you want to see some more? Let's show you the next video.
Aye, we persist in an age of monsters. And there are foes that faith and valor alone cannot best. For such enemies, Sigmar again provides.
Yes.
Take heart,
Come on.
warriors of the God King. You fight in the shadow of behemoths. The cog forts of the Iron World march with us.
Yes.
With cannon and flame, we will drive back the enemies of Sigmar. With such engines of war at our side, how can mere monsters stand against us?
Wow.
Here we have,
Wow.
the crowd has gone wild in the room. Here we have a fantastic new centerpiece model for the Cities of Sigmar armies. These are the cog forts, and right now on your screen,
Luminous
you have
that
the
way?
Cannonade
Jeez,
cog
come
fort.
on.
I love this model so much. It is such a cool addition. I think people who've collected Cities of Sigmar have basically been waiting for this kit since it was hinted at in some of the early battle tomes of the edition. It is finally here in glorious plastic, and it is well worth waiting for. There's so much to talk about in this kit.
Yeah, we've seen this hinted at in some of the artwork and stories, and even in the background of one of the scenes in an animation. This is the Cannonade cog fort. It's the first one we'll talk about. Essentially, it is a walking fortress equipped with two massive cannons. It's got point defense guns. It's powered by a Duardin forged boiler you can see on the left. This is everything you want to carry the Crusade of Sigmar into the mortal realms.
Yeah, this is the shooty version of the cog fort, right? So the gun on the back is called a Godbreaker cannon. It is very, very good at killing almost anything. One of the cool things about it is that when you shoot it, you get to choose a different type of ammunition each time you fire. So if you're shooting at something that's got a ward save, something that's very tough, or something that is lots of things in a unit.
Well done, Aslan. Great.
Based on what you shoot at. It is a monstrously powerful thing. It is probably the most dangerous ranged war machine in the game.
Absolutely.
mean-
And it's not the only cog fort that this kit makes. We also have the option for the Conqueror cog fort. This is a different proposition entirely. It is equipped with a Realm Scorcher cannon. It is an enormous flamethrower.
Yeah, it does a ridiculous
And
amount of
there's a
damage.
gate on the front.
It kicks
This
out
drips through.
66 shots when it fires, which is phenomenally good for Age of Sigmar. The other thing that's got in its belly, instead of a cannon, you effectively have a drawbridge and sallyport. You can transport a unit inside the cog fort and then charge out of the front of it into combat. So once you've broken the back of the enemy forces with your shooting, you can then charge into the still on fire enemy with your gallants or your grenadiers or something like that and kill anything that's left.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's look at some of the details of these kits. So here you can see some of the things we've talked about. The first one would be in the top right-hand corner of the screen. You can see now what the interior looks like if you lift off that roof.
Yeah, so there's so much detail in this kit. Before I was talking about the different types of ammunition you can fire. You can see the different types of ammunition stacked up behind the gunners.
It's just so cool.
So it's almost
I'm
like
so
a mini
excited.
diorama inside the kit. You can also see the sallyport and drawbridge down if you want to. You can roll it out of the kit. So you can imagine the troops charging down the front there into the enemy lines.
Yeah, absolutely. My favourite detail you'll actually see on the very left of the screen, and this is the Dwarden forged furnace that powers the entire cog fort. And there's an interesting clue to a piece of story about it. You can see sandbags hanging on the side. This is the most valuable and important part. These are forged by the Ironworld Arsenal.
That's true.
And if everything's going wrong, they'll launch a hot air balloon device out of the top, power it by the furnace, detach it from the cog fort and fly it away, because that's the bit you have to save.
Yeah, the engine basically of the cog fort is the valuable part. That's what the enemy is trying to get to. There's some other cool stuff that we can tell you about cog forts as well, if you can jump to the next slide.
So this is, the first thing is, you might like to include a cog fort in your Cities of Sigmar army, but what if you just really like the cog forts?
That's a great question, Adam. You can have an army of renown that is entirely made up of cog forts. It is called the Iron March, and effectively it does a few things. So first of all, it gives you a bunch of extra rules if you really just like cog forts and you want to just have lots of them. The other thing that it does is unlocks 2 more types of cog fort you can build in your force. So the basic kit is either 2 cannons or a flamethrower and the sallyport. In the Iron March, you can swap the tops over basically. So you can have 1 cannon, 1 flamer, or you can have the cannon and the sallyport. The only other unit you can include in this army is the Free Guild Gallants, which basically give you a way to have something inside the Conqueror cog fort to charge out the front.
And a Malice Forge priest to make sure they're working all right.
Yeah, just to hit them before the
I like that the Regiment Renown is actually trying to get you to play
you
with.
really like cog forts, and you don't have a Cities of Sigmar army, Eddie?
That's also a great question, Adam. Well, there is a Regiment of Renown in the Cities of Sigmar Battle Tome, which allows you to take a cog fort in any Age of Sigmar army. There are cog forts in the realms who have decided basically to go privateer. They've gone and become soldiers of fortune across the mortal realms, selling their services to the highest bidder. There are some cog forts whose occupants have given in to the sway of chaos. There may be some cog forts who the occupants have died and been resurrected by dark forces of the realm of death, or been paid to work in mercenary armies for destruction. So if you just want to include a cool cog fort in your army, you absolutely can. And it also opens up some great opportunities for conversions. I can already imagine people doing weird undeath or destruction or chaos cog forts.
Absolutely. So this really is an incredible centerpiece thing for your Cities of Sigmar army. The rules for it and everything you need to know, all the lore and everything behind it, will be included.
Okay,
in the
I actually like the cover of the
Battle
Battle Tome.
Cities of Sigmar, which is everything you need to be using these in your games of Warhammer Age of Sigmar.
Yeah, all the stuff you would normally expect in a Battle Tome is in there as well. But it's not the only thing on its way for Age of Sigmar.
There is a new spearhead box. This is City of Ash, and it includes 2 forces. I feel like the room has picked up on one. I'll very briefly explain. The first place you'll be able to get your hands on the Grenadiers, the Gallants, the Malice Forge Priest, and Mr. Creel is inside this box. Let's talk about the other things we can see on the screen.
Yeah,
Not
up
runners.
against him is a long-anticipated expansion for the forces of Clans Eshin. The last time we had a sizable release for Clans Eshin was wartime, basically.
Half my life ago.
Yeah, a really long time ago. So they've been well overdue for some updates, and the updates are phenomenally cool. So let's go through what you've got. You get some Night Runners.
They're like the lowest rung in the Clans Eshin.
They are
right?
the bottom rung of your Clans Eshin, but still very useful little sneaky scouter unit to run around, throw in shuriken and stabbing enemies in the back. The next unit you have up are the Gutter Runners. They are also in this box. Gutter Runners are the kind of mid-tier, I suppose, of the Clan Zeshin. They are they've gone through the ranks. They were Knight Runners, then they've graduated to Gutter Runners. There's some really characterful, fun little models in this. You've got some with poison weapons, some with the classic kind of double-bladed punch daggers, and all of the Gutter Runners have got that slightly longer, shadowy cloak on them as well.
Yeah,
Really cool.
absolutely. Obviously, somebody needs to lead this spearhead. This is a model you'll be familiar with if you follow the Skaven in Warhammer Age of Sigmar. This is a Deathmaster. He is lovely. We've seen him before. Would you like to see another Deathmaster? Then may we introduce you to Deathmaster Crixit.
So, Deathmaster Crixit is
That
probably the most
helm
notorious
is
of all the
amazing.
Deathmasters currently working in Skavenblight. He is so confident in his abilities as an assassin that he's made his identity public, which is almost unheard of for a Deathmaster. He has slain many rivals and many enemy heroes. In game terms, he is an absolute blender of a character, like more than, I think, 13 attacks, something like that, like a ludicrous number of attacks.
13 would be the right
I
number,
think it's
right?
13. I hope it's 13. He is very, very good, as you would imagine, at killing enemy heroes, but such a good character, he can basically blend through almost any small unit.
And the way that they've rendered this character, they captured the sort of, almost it looks like his cloak is made of smoke as it sort of
Maybe it
drifts
is.
down
There's
around him.
certainly a little bit of Olgian magic there, isn't there?
Yeah, absolutely. And he stood on sort of crumbling
Love
bits
the
of some building.
helm.
And
Just
that's a
everything.
useful
He's
segue
cool.
into one of the other things that this kit includes, which is some fantastic terrain for you to play your games around.
Yeah, so this box set, City of Ash, is actually set in Embergard. Embergard was the location of the Warhammer Plus animation that we had last year. That animation is effectively the sequel to this box set. Embergard was a quite prosperous city of Sigmar. It is now basically in ruins after the events of the Skaventide. But one of the things you get in the box is lots of these cool ruined buildings. You also get a bunch of very cool scatter terrain as well. So it gives you a very cool new way to play Spearhead. The box will also, the terrain will also be available separately. So if you just like the idea of a battlefield that looks like a built-up area in Age of Sigmar, this gives you a chance to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. Here you can see everything that is included within Spearhead City of Ash. So you've got all of the models, the terrain, the cards, and things you need to start playing Spearhead. This is a great way in if you haven't played Warhammer Age of Sigmar Spearhead before. And frankly, if you already have and you just want two great new spearheads, it's the perfect lunchtime game.
It's a self-contained box as well. So even if you've never played Age of Sigmar before, this actually gives you everything you need to start playing. And two really, really cool anticipated armies as well. Like Eshin, players have been looking forward to this for a really long time. New Cities of Sigmar stuff, this is a great way to pick up a few of those new units as well. So whether you kind of keep it all for yourself or split it with a friend, this is a great box.
Absolutely. So, that was a whistle-stop tour through the mortal realms as we got excited about Warhammer Age of Sigmar. We are still not done. We are going to return back to the grim darkness of the 41st millennium. We have a really exciting video to show you now. Let's go back to 40K.
Armageddon, the war world. Its soil is worthless, salted by the blood and sweat of generations. War is all that remains. It rises from the dust and echoes in the sky, a promise, a cacophony of endings. Sanguinius' sons, angels of death. We belong here.
Vanguard veterans, have a look at them.
Our veins burn with his wrath. Our twin hearts
Can you jump that
hammer
Captain?
with his rage. War is all that we know.
Oh, new weird boy.
This world must hold. There can be no retreat. There can be no mercy. There can be no peace. There is only war.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the new cinematic trailer for a new edition of Warhammer 40,000. Did you like what you saw? Let's talk about it for just a minute, because I thought that was amazing.
Yeah, we saw some very, very cool stuff in there. Obviously, there's some Blood Angels in there, there's some Orcs. We're going back to Armageddon, very cool location. There was some units we've maybe not seen before. That new big Orc Walker, I don't think we'd ever seen one of those.
Yeah, absolutely, and a classic returning unit, slightly redesigned in a land speeder that, like, very familiar for those classic land speeder fans.
That looked a little bit like Vanguard Veterans to me as well.
Absolutely so.
Bit, maybe.
Yeah. So there's a lot to like in that trailer. My favourite moment was, I think for many people might agree, when the chaplain really gets in amongst it.
I think my favourite moment is when the Orc Psyker just kind of vomited across everybody. That was
and
good.
then he takes a Croesus to the face.
He had his fun. He had his fun.
Love it. So, an incredible way to announce a new edition of Warhammer 40,000. We're really excited to talk to you about that for a few minutes now. So let's start by diving into the game. First up, it's new Warhammer 40,000. Let's talk about the game. Eddie, what can you tell us?
Yeah, so a new edition of Warhammer 40,000 obviously means a new core engine to drive this edition. That means loads of changes to all sorts of aspects of the game. We're going to talk about some of those in a little bit. We're going to give you an idea about some of the things that might be changing and what it means for you in your game. But it means so much more than just the rules. It also means new cool stuff about the lore and the universe. You got a little bit of a hint of it there. We are going back to Armageddon, which is obviously one of the most important and pivotal and, I guess, coolest locations.
It's just such an iconic setting for Warhammer 40,000, and we've set it up really in an interesting way with the return of Garrick, and we're going to continue telling stories here and in other exciting places of the galaxy.
Yeah, and you got a bit of a sense of what might be happening in that cinematic as well. We are setting up in the return of Yarrick what happens before the events of this new edition. Effectively, you have the Imperial forces, the human forces of Armageddon are bracing for this enormous wave of Orcs that is bearing down on them. Wazdacker is in the lead of that, but Ghazghkull and his legions are not far behind. They signal for help, and the help comes in the form of an enormous new Space Marine crusade, which is composed of all sorts of different chapters. The Blood Angels are obviously there, but you also have lots of other ones. The Ultramarines.
We saw Ultramarines in the video.
Yeah, Ultramarines are there as well as things like Black Templars, the Salamanders, the White Scars are there, all the classics.
So it's a classic Space Marine crusade force returning.
It's a good old-fashioned Space Marine crusade.
Once again to the war world. And if you know anything about Orcs, you know that the chance of a fight being bigger just brings more of them in. This is Ghazghkull's third run at it now. So the war that's going to hit this world is like nothing we've ever seen before.
Absolutely, yeah.
Right, so in addition to talking about the setting, we should show you what the launch box looks like.
Right.
This is Warhammer 40,000 Armageddon. It is a new launch box for a new edition. You can see in that artwork something quite nostalgic is happening. Anybody old enough in the room might be getting the same feeling in their heart as me. This really reminds me of my youth. Here you can see we're going to do an interesting thing with the graphic. It's a lot like the second edition of 40k to look at, but realised in fantastic, like, new artwork.
Yeah, there's some lovely little touches there that kind of nod to this original piece of artwork. Things like the heavy support Space Marine in the bottom right-hand corner, the placement of the grot, the pose of the Space Marine character, and some of the things that are happening in the background. That piece of artwork, obviously, from one of the earlier wars for Armageddon. We are going back there with the Vengeance, and the Blood Angels and Orcs are taking centre stage. A couple of things to say about this box as well. We're going to tell you a little bit more about some of the things that might be in this box today. We're not going to tell you everything. Some of that will be coming later. But this is an enormously cool box with loads of new Space Marines, loads of new Orcs, and all the rules and stuff you will need.
Absolutely. So let's, we imagine lots of you in this room want to know a bit more about the rules and what you can expect to change in the way you play, right? You're here to play games this weekend. So let's talk a little bit about those rules. And let's start with our first point, which which is we want to talk about that unified experience.
Yeah, so right now in Warhammer 40,000 you have the idea of narrative play and the idea of match play, and what that's kind of meant is that we kind of have two pools of people
And never the twain shall meet.
and who play Warhammer 40,000, and what we think actually is that every game of Warhammer 40,000 should feel like a rich and immersive narrative, whether you're playing at home or you're playing at the top tables of a tournament, and every game should feel balanced and exciting, and you're never sure who's going to win. So we are sort of breaking down some of the barriers between narrative play and match play, so that generally all of your games should feel balanced, and narrative is injected into the heart of all ways to play Warhammer 40,000.
Fantastic. A lot of people will have questions about the current rules that they've got available to them, so we can maybe reassure you. At launch, your codex still works.
So this is a really important point. In some editions of Warhammer 40,000 in the past, we have seen what's sometimes referred to as like a re-indexing of the edition.
Absolutely.
That isn't happening this time round. If you have a codex at home today on your shelf, that will continue to work until that codex is eventually replaced over the normal course of releases. That also applies to the campaign books that are being released. So if you picked up the 500 Worlds or Maelstrom, or you're looking at the Return of Yarick, all the rules in those will still work in the new edition.
Fantastic. If you want new ways to use the models you've got in your collection, or an excuse to get new models, there's going to be loads of new detachments coming. 70 new detachments.
Yeah, so this is really big. Right on the first day of the new edition, there will be over 70 new detachments for Warhammer 40,000 for loads of different armies, which will immediately shake up the way that you play. And give you loads of new options in terms of being able to put units on the table in fun and exciting ways. A lot of them focus on units that maybe haven't had a chance to shine in the current edition, and let you play in ways that you've never been able to put a force together before.
Yeah, it's really exciting and a really novel and interesting thing for players to sink their teeth into, right? Your codex is existent already, but there's going to be a new thing for you to get to grips with right away.
Yeah, and the detachments actually work in a slightly different way to the current detachments as well. You can continue to use your current detachments, but there will also be a different way you can put together your army. One of the advantages of the detachments, the new ones that are coming and ones we'll see in the future, is that the detachment system is now modular. So for example, if you have an army that contains Terminators and bikes,
like me,
like you, and you wanted, I want some special rules for my bikes, but I also like some special rules for my Terminators, you can now take two smaller detachments and combine them together to create an army that works exactly as you would imagine your army should work.
This I dig.
Absolutely.
I will
This
back
is going to
the
really
one
shake
second.
things up, right? Oh, there's some applause in the room. For loads of us who've enjoyed Warhammer 40,000, what we want is to be able to sort of build an army that fits our imagination from those great stories that we've read and those iconic scenes, and this is going to enable you to do that in a way which could be quite competitively rewarding, you know, and do some really interesting things to the game.
Definitely you can pull it in a very competitive way and kind of build a great combo.
Or just completely forge the narrative,
But
right?
you can it's kind of designed really to let you absolutely have your army work the way you imagine it would. Some of the shots we saw just then on the previous slides will give you an idea about some of the detachments that might be coming, and some of them are fairly specific to certain units. So for example, there is one that lets the Emperor's Champion really shine if you've got a Black Templar's army. Fantastic. There is one of them that lets Cornate Demon Engines have a boost if you're picking up one of the new Defilers, for example, and you've got a Khorne army, you can make those great. There's one that's a very stealth-themed army for Tau, so you can have stealth suits and ghost kills and things like that.
Perfect. So next up, we should talk about how the fact that we've got some things to talk about with regards to objectives.
Yeah, so this
is interesting.
This one is pretty big. So right now, when you play Warhammer 40,000, scattered across your tabletop, your beautifully painted tabletop, your beautifully painted armies and your beautiful terrain are scattered some weird circles that your guys have to go and stand on. There are no more objective marker circles in games of Warhammer 40,000. Instead, your troops will be battling over pieces of terrain. Taking and putting models onto pieces of terrain will be how you take them, and it immediately changes the way that you look at taking objectives. Rather than just moving to take a circle, you are trying to take a key bunker, capture a relic, take a key position on the battlefield.
The idea is that your games will focus on the things that you imagine your soldiers doing when you're playing a game of Warhammer 40,000. I've never once daydreamed of taking a circle. I've daydreamed of my Dark Angels storming a bastion or taking a trench work. And so the
this I really like.
With fantastic Warhammer 40,000 terrain, and that's the thing that your soldiers are going to fight and die for.
Yeah. One of the other things that's going to change in terms of missions is going to be that the detachments that you choose will dictate the types of mission that you play. When an army goes into battle, it doesn't just go out with the intent of playing pitched battle against an enemy army. It will usually have a mission. It will be assigned, you have been sent out to disrupt the enemy's plans, or to capture ground, or
just to kill
or
as
just
many
to
things
take
as you
as many
can.
heads as you can. So there is a new system called forced disposition, which your detachments will unlock. And when you come to play a game, you and your opponent compare your forced dispositions, and that will generate the mission that you play. So if your mission is to take ground, and your opponent's mission is to take heads, you will be given a mission to play that means that both of you are trying to enact the narrative that your army brings to the table.
Really exciting. Next up, we should talk about some of the specific rule changes. The first up is that there's no more stratagem stacking.
Yes. That seems like a popular one in the room. So, right now, when you play a game of Warhammer 40,000, one of the go-to tactics is you save up all your command points and then you put them all into your best unit, and that unit becomes way better at fighting than it has any right to be. You have things like stacking armor of contempt alongside minuses to wound and decreased damage.
Happy.
In the new edition, you will need to choose which stratagem you'd like to use on each unit per phase, and you can't have more than one. And it does all sorts of interesting stuff to the game. For example, if you have re-rolled your charge with a stratagem, you now can't use any other stratagems that turn, so you can't tank shock. If you've decided to use a stratagem to give you re-rolls to hit in combat, you don't get the chance to have another re-roll to wound on a tactical re-roll, for example.
It's going to really shake things up in an exciting way. We should also talk about a change which is going to affect in particular the early phase of the game, which is the ability for units to stay hidden.
Yeah, so this is a really big one, especially in terms of how you're going to deploy your armies. You cannot target an enemy unit that has not shot unless you are within 15 inches of it, if it is in a piece of terrain.
So imagine when you deploy your army, you put your Devastator squad or your Astra Militarum heavy weapon teams in a trench work or a fortification or in some ruined buildings. That scene in the movie where you look at the guys lying in ambush and staying out of sight.
Dig that. That's
what you're
really
gonna
good
do.
rule,
You
bro.
don't have to park weirdly behind terrain now. You can be in it and still get that same benefit.
Yeah, so and you get that benefit up until the point that your unit effectively joins the battle. So you can park that unit high up in a terrain feature where previously they'd have to hide, and they are safe unless the enemy gets very close or until you've taken your shot.
Absolutely. Next up, there's some changes to how combat works. So it's been cleaned up. Eddie, can you tell us more?
So there's some big changes across the combat phase. Some subtle ones, some big ones. We'll go through some of them, but there's lots more, and you get a chance to kind of look at those when you finally get the rules in your hand. Fast dice rolling is now the standard. Most players kind of do it already, but the rules are now written to assume that you're rolling all your dice for a single kind of set of attacks together, rather than kind of doing them one at a time. So that makes combat much faster. Combat activation has changed. The biggest change there is that in your turn, your strikes first units now go before your opponent. And in game terms, that means...
Ooh, there's some cheers for that
in game terms, that means if you've charged into an enemy army and they've got strikes first, at least one of your units will get to go before they go. That's quite a big change for some armies. Pile in and consolidate now happen together. So you do all of your pile-ins for everything in your army, and then you do all of the combats, and then you do all of the consolidates. And what that means is that the pile-in move becomes much more about getting lots of your units into close combat and less about trying to kind of grab extra inches towards getting objectives.
Yeah, absolutely. And the final one is near to my heart because I like those risky charge rolls, right? But when they don't pay off, you guys stand around doing nothing. So it's different now.
It is different. So the way that charges work now is that you pick your targets after you have rolled your dice.
Okay, so they got Age of Sigmar charging coming before.
So that does some pretty major things. So the first and most obvious thing is that if you move forward and you don't manage to get that charge against the unit you were aiming for, and there's a closer unit, you can now charge them instead. So you generally end up with less units standing around and kind of having failed the charge and not doing anything. It also means that occasionally you might get a unit into that big, long 12-inch charge that you wouldn't previously have tried, but you can now get in. So basically, this is a rule that just encourages you to get stuck into close combat. We don't like it when units move forward and then end up standing around not being able to kill stuff.
More charges more often.
More charges more often.
Perfect.
Absolutely.
So next one, and I mentioned previously that I have a Astra Militarum Steel Legion army. They drive around in chimeras. This one's quite exciting for me. Tell us about combat disembark.
There is now a rule where if your transport is in combat with an enemy unit, you can just get out straight into combat.
Yeah, that's
Small
awesome.
caveat, it's not always the best idea because your unit will be battle shocked and might take casualties. But it makes it very difficult to completely lock down a force that's trying to drive forward with combat units to get stuck in.
Absolutely. Next up, we should talk about the leaders and the impact they have in your games. Essentially, your leaders are always going to lead. Can you unpack that for us?
Yeah, so when you choose a model that can lead a unit, you now assign it when you build your army list. So if you have a chaplain and he's going to lead one of your units of Space Marines, you now write that in your army list rather than choosing before the game. But the thing that happens in-game is that if the unit is killed, the character keeps all the benefits of leading the unit that he would normally have. So
Good. Yeah.
your chaplain doesn't become inexplicably worse at combat because the guys next to him have died. And the same is true for all the different characters. So that immediately means that all of those heroes that have lost their unit can carry on being maximum heroic right up until the moment they die.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool.
And I guess the last thing we should talk about, which connects to all of this, is there's going to be a huge refresh to the Warhammer 40,000 app.
Yeah, so the Warhammer 40,000 app has already proven to be really useful. We know loads of you use it all the time. We're going to put loads of resource and effort into it to make it an even more valuable and essential thing. There's loads of things coming for it. One of the things we can announce today is that we're going to increase language support. So right now the app is only in English. Going forwards, it will have support for English, French, German, Italian, Spanish, Chinese, Japanese, and Korean.
Well done remembering them all.
That's good, right? And that will start with core rules, mission rules, and combat patrol. So that's not all that's coming for the app. There's loads of other things, but this is going to be a really useful tool for all of you going forwards, regardless of what language you play Warhammer in.
Yeah, I had a chance to get told some of the cool things that are coming, and I can't reveal it yet, but it's going to be super rad. I'm very excited as a person who relies on the app for when I'm playing the game. It's very cool.
We'll have loads more about all the details of what those rules mean exactly on the Warhammer community website over the coming days and weeks.
So, we told you we'd show you maybe something from the new launch box. Would you like to see some new models?
Ooh, new models. Yep.
So, let's start with this.
Vanguard Vets. Oh no. That's just an intercessor. Okay.
So this is the first of the new Space Marine models. We're going to show you him today. He's a Space Marine intercessor, and you see the coming together of old and new in terms of armor types.
Yeah, so attrition has taken its toll on the Primaris Marines, and their shiny Tacticus armor that they went out into Crusade with has now had to be supplemented with parts of classic armor pieces. For us, though, that means that we get to use lots of very cool classic pieces like the Mark 7 helmet you can see.
It's
on
a good
Space
look,
Marine.
right?
It's a good look. It's a good look. And that is the sort of thing you can look forward to going forwards. Lots of the Space Marines in this box will have elements of classic armor that you might recognize from earlier editions and earlier sets, mixed in amongst the Mark X Tacticus suits.
Yeah, absolutely. I like there's some lovely little details here. He's got the sort of the Purity Scroll style ribbon wrapped around his bolt rifle.
This is really cool.
The Primaris, when we first saw them, the Primaris Space Marines look quite clean cut, right? And they're increasingly blending in with.
They're getting a bit more gothic every time we see
absolutely.
them.
I really like it.
One of the other things to note as well about this model and all of the models in the box set is that while he looks very cool, painted as a Blood Angel, there is nothing sculpted onto that model to say it needs to be a Blood Angel. So if you have an Ultramarine, a Space Wolf, a Dark Angel,
the best
an
ones, the
Imperial
Dark
Fist,
Angels.
or if you flavor to taste, I guess, you can paint him as any Space Marine chapter you like.
Fantastic. Would you like to see something from the other side? Let's see an orc then.
Yeah. Oh, come on, God. We've already seen the big dude. Don't tell him. We've already seen him. God damn, that sound is freaking terrible. We're just gonna see an orc play. Cool.
This is an orc boy from the upcoming Armageddon launch box, and something's a bit different about him, right?
Yeah, so I think some of you already clocked it in the video, and obviously you can see it there on screen. In previous editions, in previous versions of the Orc box set, you had to choose whether you wanted to give your orcs a shooter or a chopper. You can now have both. No orc should leave home without a chopper, and no orc would dream of going to the battlefield without carrying the biggest gun that he can carry. So going forwards, orc boys are assumed to have whatever weapon the situation demands.
Get yourself a boy that can do both, right?
Absolutely.
I love it. So, we've
So,
got one
solid.
more sneaky tease of things that are coming in this box right now, and that is that we can confirm for certainty there is at least one squig in the box. That went down quite well. You will need to wait a little bit longer to see the rest. Stay your disappointment. It'll be worth the wait, we promise. That brings us to the end of all of our reveals. Did you like what you saw? I guess what we need to do now is bring this thing home and wrap up this preview. First of all, thank you so much for bearing with us through the technical difficulties. You have been amazing as an audience. We've loved being here in front of you, and your attitude and your energy has carried this through for us, so thank you all for being here. We've had so much to show you. It's been really exciting. We've delved into Warhammer 40,000 and Kill Team, Horus Heresy, the Warhammer Plus TV show, all of that great stuff from the licensees, the new Mephiston. Make sure you check him out downstairs if you're here at Adepticon. Our friends at Joy Took with the Space Marine helmet, Underworlds, Warhammer Age of Sigmar with the incredible Cogfort, and the biggest news in years and years with a new edition of Warhammer 40,000.
Awesome.
Eddie, what was your favourite thing in the show?
Alright, well, it is middle of the day. Wife is going to need a bit of a hand. And so we are going to call it here for the end of the stream. It's been a pleasure watching along with everyone despite all of Warhammer's problems today. Let us know your favourite things down in the comments below, and we will talk to you all soon.